तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ओम तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and it is the return visit of Pandit Shashadhar Targachudamani. Conversations of Monday, June 30, 1884. And Thakur is continuing the same topic. He is instructing in, we may say, the practical spiritual life. And so, he sang a lot of songs. And now, we read, the Pandit had studied the Vedas and the other scriptures. He loved to discuss philosophy. But we know that his philosophy is mostly karma-kanda philosophy. The master, seated on the coach, cast his benign look on the Pandit and gave him counsel through parables. Master to the Pandit. These are Master Mahashaya's introduction. Master to the Pandit. There are many scriptures like the Vedas. Manam, Shruti, Smriti, Puran, the Hindu religion has abundant of scriptures. So Thakur is mentioning all of them. But one cannot realize God without austerity and spiritual discipline. So, but that means by reading scriptures and discussing scriptures, nothing is going to happen. It is not about the Vedanta. Their Shravanamana Nidhasan itself is sadhana. Thakur has taught it to Turiyan Swamiji. But here, it is mostly Karma-Kandatma scripture. So, along with that, along with the study of scriptures, for realizing God, you require austerity and spiritual discipline. Now, what is austerity? If nothing is told about tapasya, we may better refer to Gita 17th chapter. And there tapasya of three types is described in detail. Bodily, vocally, and mentally. So, Deva Dvija Guru Pradnya Pujanam, Shaucha Marjavam, Brahmacharyam, Ahinsacha, Shariram Tapochyate. Anudvega Karam Vakyam, Satyam Priya Hitam Chayat, Swadhyaya Bhasanam Chaiva, Vangmayam Tapochyate. Mana Prasada, Saumyatvam, Monam, Atma Vinigraha, Bhava Sanshuddhiriti Etat, Manasam Tapochyate. So this is the best guide to tapasya for an ordinary man. For a jnani and all that, Shankar says, Manasascha Indriyascha Ekagram Paramam. Concentration of the mind and Indriyas is the Paramatma. So Thakur is only mentioning tapasya, so one should take recourse to these. And spiritual discipline. So some sort of sadhana has to be done. There also Thakur has not mentioned what. So Thakur has described that so many types of sadhanas are there. So Nam, Jap, Dhyan. So some sadhana must be done. These two things Thakur tells him, simply discussing the scriptures will of no avail. God cannot be found in the six systems, the Vedas or the Tantra. So we have discussed this, that six systems are only thought processes. Similarly, Vedas and Tantra. Thakur mentions three things, Vedas and Tantras. Thakur gives an example there, but one should learn the contents of the scriptures and then act according to their injunctions. Clearly, karma kanda. Because in Vedanta, what you have to act? Shravan Manan Nididhasan. You have to try to realize it. There is no other action except Shravan Manan Nididhasan. Sardanji, that Pandit was adapted in karma kanda. So this is definitely about the karma kanda. That knowing how to perform a yajna will not give you the result unless you perform that yajna. So that is the difference between karma kanda and Vedanta. Vedanta, after experiencing the truth, nothing has to be done. And here, after understanding the truth, you have to separately act upon it and then get the result. But one should learn the contents of the scriptures and then act according to their injunctions. Now he gives an example. A man lost a letter. He couldn't remember where he had left it. He began to search for it with a lamp. After 2 or 3 people had searched, the letter was at last found. The message in the letter was, please send us 5 seers of sandesh and a piece of wearing cloth. The seers is like kg. The man read it and then threw the letter away. There was no further need of it. Now all he had to do was to buy the 5 seers of sandesh and the piece of cloth. So all this is karma. You should know and then act. And once you know the detail, there is no further need of keep. Better than now, a very wonderful truth Thakur is telling. Because better than reading is hearing. We are entering now the Jnana field. And Kathopanishad says, by na medhaya, na bahuna shrute, no, that is a different shloka. Nayam atma pravachane na labdho. That is yame vesha vrunate. I am not talking about that. Yes. Naisha tarkena matirapaneya प्रोक्ता अन्य नैव विज्ञानाय प्रेष्ठ अनन्य प्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अणियानि अतर्क्यम अनुप्रमाण. So by reasoning you are not going to get the truth. because it is beyond reason, it is subtler. When a person who has not remained separate than Brahman, and he talks to you in such a way that you are not separate from Brahman, and he does not teach, he also talks as if he is not separate from you. All three mean Ananya Prapti. And once this is done, Gati Ratra Nasti, the mind, this is the first mention of means of realization. अभी तो आया है, वन पर आ गया है. We are shifting to Jnanakanda. Better than reading is hearing. Now, what happens by hearing? Not from town we can have, but a person like this, who has not remained separate than Brahman, when he talks, he is adding his experience into the talk. And so, it enters your heart and gives you experience. Reading, man does by eyes, by intellect mostly. So, this is important, Thakur saying, better than reading is hearing. And better than hearing is seeing. Better means result here. If you can experience, nothing like that. The seeing here can also mean seeing an avatar or a Brahman and analyzing him. So that is a much more direct way of realizing God. Now Thakur explains, one understands the scriptures better by hearing them from the lips of the Guru or of a holy man. Yes. Either he may be your Guru or maybe any sadhu who has experienced it. Then one doesn't have to think about their non-essential part. So that is another advantage, that in scripture there are many non-essential parts, but when somebody talks, he talks of Siddhanta Vakyas only. And so that is a direct effect. Hanuman said, brother, I don't know much about the phase of the moon or the position of the stars. I just contemplate Rama. Now here has brought Hanuman's example. Because Hanuman is living with Rama always. And later on also, Rama is a matter of realization for him. So Thakur here is distinguishing the unessential part and the essential part. For that Hanuman. So Tithivar Nakshatra is unessential part. But seeing is far better than hearing. Then all doubts disappear. So seeing has two meanings. Seeing means experiencing the truth, or seeing means seeing a person who has experienced truth. then all doubts disappear. Because no need of hearing, no need of reasoning. It is true that many things are recorded in the scriptures, but all these are useless without the direct realization of God. So that is the straight away. Without devotion to his lotus feet, without purity of heart. So three things for the Jnana Yogi: direct relation of God, and how it comes? Without devotion to the lotus feet, and how that functions? Without purity of heart. So this is the downward ladder. Ideal, step further. Example, the almanac forecasts the rainfall of the year, but not a drop of water will you get by squeezing the almanac. No, not even one drop. So forecast is written, but that is not practical. So from scripture, the essentials has to be picked up again. How long should one reason about the text of the scriptures? So long as one does not have direct relation of God. So this dialectic method, that means manan. So manan goes on till one is able to meditate and experience God. How long does the bee buzz about? As long as it is not sitting on a flower. Beautiful example. No sooner does it light on a flower and begins to sip honey, then it keeps quiet. Brihadaranyaka says that when knowledge enters deep, you come to mauna. That is meditative state. But you must remember another thing. Now this is Thakur's Vijnana. One may talk even after the realization of God. That is when he instructs people. Or he just wants to recapitulate those things. But then one talks only of God and of divine bliss. So experience, when expressed, becomes more solid. It is like a drunkard's crying, "Victory to the Divine Mother." He can hardly say anything else on account of his drunkenness. So he has taken liquor, he has become intoxicated, so shouts. So after realizing God also, the expression comes out. Naneshwar Maharaj says, somebody says that, can he be realized? Naneshwar Maharaj says, the Shruti, are they giving, belching in vain? So he compares Shruti. If the stomach is filled, then belching comes. So rishis have experienced to their fill, and so the belching is the Shrutis. You can notice too that a bee makes an indistinct humming sound after having sipped the honey from a flower. So while sipping, after sipping, this humming sound, not clear any words. So in Taittiriya Upanishad we hear, when he realizes, then he sings out of joy without words. Ha woo, ha woo, ha woo. Then he tells the words of joy. So that is the experienced man can only talk like this. The Jnani reasons about the world through the process of neti neti, not this, not this. Reasoning in this way, reasoning means going on experiencing practically along with the reasoning. Not this is not only reasoning. Not this, then throw it away from the mind. So this is reasoning. Huh? Reasoning in this way, he at last comes to a state of bliss. So finally, nothing else than Brahman remains. Brahman is such a thing which cannot be reasoned out. Everything else can be reasoned out. Brahman cannot be reasoned out. And that is Brahman. Bliss, that is Brahman. What is the nature of a Jnani? He behaves according to scriptural injunction. So scriptures are told how a Jnani behaves. But so Jnani in Thakur's mind is a man of conviction that God alone is real. Once I was taken to Chanak and saw some sadhus there. Several of them were suing or laugh. That means not fitting the sadhus. At the sight of us, they threw aside their suing. They sat straight, crossing their legs and conversed with us. So, Jnani is nature, Thakur has explained. Bent upon reasoning. This Jnani is a mode of life. But Jnanis will not talk about spiritual things without being asked. They will inquire at first about such things as your health and your family. So they will judge a man. And unless you ask, they will not reply. But the nature of Vijnani is different. We'll understand what is Vijnani. He is unconcerned about anything. That means no formal behavior. Perhaps he carries his wearing cloth loose under his arm. Thakur does all this, na? Like a child. Or perhaps the cloth has dropped from his body altogether. There is an incident. It will come at the end of the gospel. Ashwini Kumar once visited the Thakur. And Master Masha wants to know what happened there. So he has written. And that Master Masha is added as an appendix. So there he says, Thakur has somehow put on the dhoti. And one party is going this side, he collects, the other party collects. And then he says, Dhat salar dhoti, and throws away. And then ask him, am I uncivilized? Then Ashwini Babu said, no, how you can be uncivilized? There is no, those people, Keshav and others criticize me, so I have to somehow hold on the dhoti. So his dhoti, now why we put on the clothes? Generally we will say, Lajja Nivaran. In Thakur's case, others Lajja Nivaran, not his own. So that is telling out Vijnani is unconcerned about others. He is so much soaked with the experience of God. The man who knows that God exists is called a Jnani. Asti Teva Palabdhavyam. A Jnani is like one who knows beyond a doubt that a log of wood contains fire, beyond doubt. But a Vijnani is he who lights the log, cooks over the fire, and is nourished by the food. So this is something we have to think about. Intimacy with God after Neti Neti. So in one place, Thakur has said, Bhakta realizes Sagun Brahma and develops intimacy. That we can understand. But after Neti Neti, immanence is experienced, and there, that Bhaktartham Kalpitam Dvaitam, something like that. But intimacy is something unheard of except in Thakur. And we find him always talking with the mother. So he has given the example, lights the log, cooks over the fire and nourished by the food. The 8 fetters have fallen from his Vijnani. So this is full realization, which you say. Huh? So Jnani, if he knows that reality is transcendent, can be called half Jnani. And when he sees that same God appears as all, then intimacy is developed. And that is Vijnani, that is full knowledge. So this is something new in Thakur over the traditional Vedanta as taught by Shankar. Shankar is full of devotion in his stotras. But when it comes to Bhashyas or his books on Vedanta, then we find him transcendent Brahma. The 8 fetters have fallen from the Vijnani. He may keep merely the appearance of lust, anger, and the rest. Appearance, huh? He may shout, but there is no anger with him. It may appear that he thinks of woman, but there is no sexual desire. So appearance. Example is big branch of a tree has fallen down. There is a mark on that tree. That is the example. Pandit. Now he knows scriptures. So he quotes parallelly, the knots of his heart are cut asunder, all his doubts are destroyed. This is about the realization. Vidyate hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshaya, khiyante chasya karmani, tasmin drishte paravare. One who has realized the Nirgun and Sagun Brahman. Oh. Parabrahman and Aparabrahman. Very clear there. So that is what is Thakur is pointing out again and again. Master, yes. So Thakur point, this is all right. Yes. And he gives a beautiful example. Once a ship sailed into the ocean. Suddenly the iron joints, nails and screws fell out. The ship was passing a magnetic hill, and so all its iron was loosened. Compared to the knots of the heart, arisen. His hold on the ego is God's. I used to go to Krishna Kishore's house. Krishna Kishore's house, Krishna Kishore also has read scriptures and he is a man of faith. Once when I was there, he said to me, "Why do you chew bitter leaf?" So some people think that one should learn renunciation by getting rid of items of luxury. Actually, bitter leaf is not a luxury. Bitter leaf is a digestive, especially when heavy food is taken. There is a very funny story in Marathi poem. There was a teacher and his small daughter loved to eat betel leaf. Now he told that betel leaf should not be chewed except when you take sweets. Now he has gone out, and when he comes back, she is eating betel leaf. Why you have done? She says the curry had become sweet. So giving up betel leaf, I said, it is my sweet pleasure. Vinani, I shall chew betel leaf, look at my face in the mirror, and dance naked among 1,000 girls. Vinani, Swamiji has not gone so far. He told Shuddhan Swamiji once, Sudhir, by Thakur's grace, I am in such a state that if half a dozen naked girls roll over my body, nothing will happen to me. Thakur, we must refer Bengali, whether this is exact or not. Lot of it is skipped.
One page is skipped.
खुशी पान खाओ आरशीते मुख देखो हजार मेर भीतर नांगटा पे नाचबो. So this is realization. He is beyond scriptural injunctions. And that is why I said Jnani follows scriptures. Vijnani does not. This is something to be contemplated deeply. Two things. One is Thakur's personality and one is the state of Vijnani. Krishna Kishore's wife scolded him and said, "What have you said to Ramakrishna? You don't know how to talk to people." And his reporting is so objective. In this state, passions like lust and anger are burnt up, though nothing happens to the physical body. So when the physical body consciousness is there, all the passions are there. But a Vijnani, physical body is there, but passions are not. It looks just like any other body, but the inside is all hollow and pure. No passions inside. Now it will not look also as a body, it will glow. A devotee. Does the body remain even after the realization of God? That is the main question. Then all this will happen. Nah? Master, the body survives with some so that they may work out their prarabdha karma or work for the welfare of others. So two things he is telling. Now it is prarabdha karma. When we are born, some momentum is there on our mind. And that functions. What does prarabdha do? Patanjali says, Jati Ayur Bhoga. Where he will be born, how many years he will live, and what sukha dukkha he will enjoy, suffer, that is determined by the past karma. Now, he has realized, but the body is made out of that momentum. So the body continues till that momentum is lost. One thing. Secondly, a full jnani is not under prarabdha. If he likes, he can give up the body. But if God wants to use his body for doing his work, then he keeps the body. So that is a better description than the jnani is passive description. But the active or the real description is if God does his leela of the world. But there is a special leela of helping the devotees. Now for that he requires instruments. And where does he get the instruments other than these perfected people? So he uses their body. So they are not there. God is working through that body. We see as if they are there. So these two things. The body survives with sun, so that they may work out their prarabdha karma or work for the welfare of others. By bathing in the Ganges, a man gets rid of his sin and attains liberation. But if he happens to be blind, he does not get rid of his blindness. So physically, nothing happens. Of course, he escapes future births. So a Jivan-Vikas will not be born again. He has worked out. Which would otherwise be necessary for reaping the results of his past sinful karma. So past karma, sanchit, is there. Now, some of it has given the momentum, but the remaining karma, for that he is to be born again. His present body remains alive as long as its momentum is not exhausted, clearly mentioned. But future births are no longer possible. The wheel moves as long as the impulse that has set it in motion lasts. The potter's wheel or any wheel. Then it comes to a stop. In the case of such a person, passions like lust and anger are burnt up. Only the body remains alive to perform a few actions. Okay? Clear. Pandit, that is called sanskara. He is telling that because of sanskara he is moving. Thakur has ignored that. Master, The Vijnani always sees God. That is why he is so indifferent about the world. I told you Mahapurush's description. To whom I talked today? Anyway, Mahapuruji's English biography. There is a preface by Vivekananda Swami. And he said the very first line. Mahapuruji was supremely concerned and absolutely unconcerned about the world. He was supremely concerned and absolutely unconcerned about this. Because of his kindness, because of his immanent nature, for the welfare of people only they are working. But absolutely unconcerned because they are in transcendental samadhi. No attachment, but supremely concerned. So that is what he is telling here. Huh? The Vijnani always sees God. That is why he is so different about the world. He sees God even with his eyes open. Because what is inside, he sees outside. God everywhere. Sometimes he comes down to the Leela from the Nitya, and sometimes he goes up to the Nitya from the Leela. So, Sagun Brahman or Nirgun Brahman at will. This is all Vijnani, the full realization. Now, the full realization includes intimacy. That we have to think more. Pandit, I don't understand that. So, it is a little puzzling for the people through reasoning. Master, the Jnani reasons about the world through the process of Niti and at last reaches the eternal and indivisible Satchidananda. He reasons in this matter. Brahman is not the living beings. It is neither the universe nor the 24 cosmic principles. As a result of such reasoning, he attains the absolute. Then he realizes that it is absolute that has become all this. So then only, after Nirvana Samadhi, mind does not remain in the same state. That is not the nature of the mind. So mind becomes aware of Manaspanda. But because he has already realized that knowledge will never go. So the knowledge is of this form now. The same reality which I had experienced is all. That is the Vijnani. Then he realizes that it is the absolute that has become all this, the universe, its living beings, and the 24 cosmic principles. So to exhaust everything in the universe, while a universe in general, with living beings, and then the 24 cosmic principles, they are the Prakriti principles. Milk sets into curd, and the curd is churned into butter. After extracting the butter, one realizes that the butter is not essentially different from buttermilk, and buttermilk not essentially different from butter. The bark of a tree goes with the pith, and the pith goes with the bark. Okay? So, transcendent, immanent, the same reality is always the important thing. It can be realized only after the realization of transcendent Brahman. Pandit, smiling to Buddha, who had come with him, that guest, host of session. Did you understand that? It is very difficult. So Pandit has not yet been able to catch it. So he wants to know if Buddha has understood. Master, If there is butter, there must be buttermilk also. If you think of butter, you must also think of buttermilk along with it. Or there cannot be any butter without buttermilk. Just so, if you no reasoning is possible. So example. Just so, if you accept the Nitya, you must also accept the Leela. It is the process of negation and affirmation. Niti, Neti, and Iti. My teacher used to say negation and illumination.
In Bengali, it is
Huh?
Anulom and Vilom.
Anulom Vilom is negation and affirmation is all right. But after I negated everything, that light is thrown and everything appears different as Brahman. So negation and then illumination. You realize the Nitya by negating the Leela. Then you affirm the Leela, seeing in it the manifestation of the Nitya. How many times Thakur is telling so that the Pandit can understand? One attains the state after realizing reality in both aspects. So that is the full realization. Personal and impersonal. Personal means Sagun, impersonal means Nirgun. The personal is the embodiment of Chit consciousness and the impersonal is the indivisible Satchidananda. Achha. Embodiment of Chit. So that consciousness has taken a form that is called Samam Brahma. And Akhanda is Nirgun. Brahman alone has become everything. Therefore, to the Vijnani, this world is a mansion of mirth. Ram Prasad says it's a mansion of thorns. So somebody replied, but it is a mansion of mirth also. But to the Jnani, it is a framework of illusion. Dhokar Tati. Ram Prasad described the world as a framework of illusion. Another man said to him by way of retort, this very world is a mansion of mirth. Here I can eat, here drink, make merry. Oh, physician, you are a fool. What is physician? No, Ram Prasad Sen was the surname. And these same people belonging to a caste which are called Vaidyas. The Ayurvedic doctor is called a Kaviraj. That is the Bengali format. I don't know how and why. Kaviraj means supreme poet. And the what I just now I told.
Vaidya, Kaviraj.
Now, who is
Ramakrishna Sen.
No, I was telling. That is a caste, Kaviraj, all right?
Vaidya caste.
Yes. Oh, here physician only is taught. That's all right. Now, Kaviraj is poets. Oh, physician, you are a fool. हमारे सुई तो अंदर सेन है तो परमिशन जिसको कभी कभी फिजिशियन कहते थे या कविराज कहते थे Oh, physician, you are a fool. You see only the surface of things inside Janaka's mind. So, example is Janaka. Janaka's mind was unsurpassed. What did he lack of the world or the spirit? Holding to one as well as the other, he drank his milk from a brimming cup. That means had the experience of immanent and transcendent both. The Vijnani enjoys the bliss of God in a richer way. Some have heard of milk, some have seen it, and some have drunk it. The Vijnani has drunk milk, enjoyed it, and become nourished by it. So intimacy again and again through immanence. Full realization is the meaning again and again. The master remained silent for a few moments and then asked Pandit Shashadhar to have a smoke. That is just to relax. The Pandit went to the southeast veranda to smoke. So some people do not like to smoke in front of others. The smoking is not a bad habit. It is just meant to relax the mind. Now this leads to cancer and all that. So that is a physical prohibition, not spiritual. Old sadhus, old generation, outside sadhus, always smoke. Now Ramakrishna Mission has become gentleman's sadhu. I asked one of our senior sadhus, Swami Pitambarananda, he was the head of the Asansol Center. And I stayed with him for a long time in the same room, double-seated room in the monk quarter. And he used to smoke. I asked him, Maharaj, why is this smoke? He said, I don't think it is a habit. It is just to relax the mind. So it is formally said. That is after breakfast, after lunch, and after dinner, he used to smoke. So understand? So his mind has become tense by now. Thakur has understood that. So he says, have a smoke. And he does not like to smoke in front of others. So he goes aside and smokes. All this is mentioned in the gospel, so we must think of it. Now, many of non-sadhus sneer at the sadhus when they smoke. But if you go to the other sadhus, you'll find they don't mind it. Soon he came back to the room and sat on the floor with the devotees. Seated on the small couch, the master continued the conversation. We are getting a thorough of the spiritual life in this. Master to the Pandit, let me tell you something. So he wants to continue the conversation, but relax in between. There are three kinds of ananda, joy. The joy of worldly enjoyment, the joy of worship, and the joy of Brahman. Joy of worship is bhajan ananda. Now this bhajan or worship is neither singing nor worship. A joy associated with contemplation of God. A joy which leads to the full joy. And the joy of Brahman. Brahman nature is joy. The joy of worldly enjoyment is the joy of woman and God. We understood by now. Which people always enjoy. The joy of worship one enjoys while chanting the name and glories of God. Bhajan. And the joy of Brahman is the joy of God vision. After finishing the joy of God vision, the rishis of olden times went beyond all rules and conventions, that Vijnana. So Thakur is asserting that the old rishis had Vijnana. The emphasis in between is about the Jnana. Hazara to the Pandit. Hazara is interviewing. So your doubts are now solved. In between he had said, no, I cannot understand fully. Master to the Pandit. He is still continuing. Huh? What is Samadhi? It is the complete merging of the mind in God consciousness. The Jnani experiences Jada Samadhi. That means I is absolutely gone. Appearance of inertness comes. That is Jada Samadhi. In which no trace of I is left. The Samadhi attained through the path of Bhakti is called Chetan Samadhi. That means I am enjoying God. Samadhi because there is nothing other than God. But I is there. So this I enjoying God. In this Samadhi, there remains the consciousness of I. The I of the servant and master relationship, of the lover and beloved relationship, of the enjoyer and food relationship. So he has described different relationships. Finally, enjoyer and food relationship. That means God is an object of enjoyment. And I am enjoying. God is the master, the devotee is the servant. God is the beloved, the devotee is the lover. God is the food and the devotee is the enjoyer. I don't want to be sugar, I want to eat it. But this is after Nirvikalpa. So that is the food. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, after Havu, he says, I am the food, I am the eater, and I am eating. That relation between the eater and food. Pandit, what will happen if God dissolves all of the I? If he changes the enjoyer himself into sugar? Yes, that is my question always. Master smiling. Come, tell me what is in your mind. Yes? So, Pandit is harping upon the Vikalpa Samadhi, Nirgun Brahma. Thakur says, he is not talking directly of it. Huh? But don't the scriptures mention Narada, Shuka, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar? That means men of realization, and yet they are living. Pandit, yes, sir, they do. Master, though they were jnanis, yet they kept the eye of the bhakta. Haven't you read the Bhagavata? Pandit, I have read only part of it, not the whole. So he was harping more on the Vedic Karma Kanda. Master, pray to God. He is full of compassion. Will he not listen to the words of his devotee? He is the Kalpataru. You will get whatever you desire from him. Pandit, I haven't thought deeply about these things before, but now I understand. So much things Thakur has to take for our benefit. Master, God keeps a little of I in his devotee even after giving him. The conversation continues. Huh? We will take it tomorrow.